into another edition of Bet. I'm your host today, Anita Marks. We've got a great show lined up for you. I feel like we say that each and every time, but it's true. We always do. Tyler Fulghum is going to join us. We'll talk a little golf. Also, find out what his favorite play is heading into, of course, this week's action of the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight. Sean Farnham is going to join us as well to talk some college hoops, and Eric Moody with some NBA. But we see the man. There he is. How you doing, Tyler? I like that backdrop, man. That's you're looking spiffy back there. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, that's some turf I took from my golf club and hung on my wall after I had one of my low rounds. So that's what you're seeing back there.
I love it. I love it. Kind of like your trophy, right? Let's dive right into it. Let's dive into reaction or no action. Okay, and here we go. Let's start off with San Diego State going up against Alabama. Alabama, one of those few one seeds still alive in the tournament. Will San Diego State beat them outright? You can get that at +7.5 on the money line, +285. Reaction or no action?
I'll admit, Anita, it's attractive on the money line, but I say no action. I think Alabama, obviously we know they're the top seed in that region, top seed overall in the tournament. I think they are a team that can get past San Diego State. The Mountain West traditionally hasn't fared well in the tournament, and outside of San Diego State, that was the case this year. I do think the Aztecs are a good program. I do think they have a puncher's chance at knocking off Alabama, but ultimately I think if we're taking the spread out of this, I think Alabama does win in advance. So no action on the Aztecs in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I'm going reaction here. If there's one thing that we've seen, I'd say in the last decade with this big dance, right, is just upsets left and right. The parity this season in college basketball has been unbelievable, and a big reason why I think this has been one of the most fun and exciting tournaments we've seen in a long time, right? Like FDU, Princeton's still alive. How far can they go? This is a San Diego State team, two very good defenses. They force turnovers. Both of them are excellent at the free throw line. And San Diego State has a pretty good perimeter defense. They only allow opponents 29% from behind the arc, and that is the wheelhouse for Alabama and how they like to score their points. So for me, reaction. Question number 2, the 76ers win the Atlantic. Now the Celtics are favored at -240. The 76ers, you can get it 2-1. Reaction or no action?
I really wish they would have taken care of the Chicago Bulls in double overtime last night, but I will say reaction. I think Philadelphia is just a better basketball team than Boston. Joel Embiid is playing like an MVP favorite. That's why he is now the betting favorite in that market. James Harden has rediscovered a lot of that offensive efficiency that he had prior to coming to Brooklyn and Philadelphia. When he was at his peak powers in Houston, he's getting to the free throw line a lot. He's knocking down his threes. He's creating, leads the entire NBA in assists this season. They have those complementary pieces around Embiid and Harden, Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, guys that can come off the bench. I think Embiid will ultimately lead them to a division crown over the Boston Celtics. Reaction for me, I think, to the better team, and I think ultimately they end up with a better record.
Lockstep, right here with you, Boo. I'm going reaction as well. They're only a half game back for the Boston Celtics. Dare I say Embiid, Harden, and Maxey could potentially be a big three. I don't think Maxey gets enough respect, to be quite frank. Let's talk about momentum. This is a 76ers team. They had won 8 straight before, of course, the unfortunate loss to the Bulls their last game. They take on the Bulls again. I think they get back on the winning track. It's hard to beat a team, especially as good as the 76ers, twice in a row. Strength of schedule, I checked that out. The 76ers have the easiest strength of schedule for the remaining games in the regular season. And Boston has is 11 notches down. So 11 harder games. Anyway, all right, let's go to question 3. It's reaction for me, Tyler. Let's go to question number 3. And that is Dan Campbell, head coach of the Detroit Lions, wins Coach of the Year this season in the NFL. And currently those odds are 10-1. Reaction or no action?
I'm no action here. I know Dan Campbell is everyone's lovable meathead coach who, obviously the Lions like playing for him. But I'm not sure that the Lions are going to be this team that makes this massive leap like everyone is projecting. They obviously made a leap last year, but there are other teams around the National Football League, other head coaches around the National Football League that I would rather bet on, especially now that he's priced as a favorite at 10-1. I'm going to say no action, and I'll look elsewhere around the league for a team to jump from bottom of their division in 2022 to a playoff team in 2023. So I love Campbell. He did a good job last year, but this is a no action for me, Anita.
I'm going reaction. I'm 3-0 with reaction. I'm spending all kinds of money today, Tyler, for a few reasons, right? Like Aaron Rodgers, at least we're expecting that deal to go down with the Jets. He's gone. I don't know about you. The Vikings and Kirk Cousins don't really scare me. I know a lot of people are loving the Chicago Bears this coming season. Justin Fields, to me, until I can see him actually throw a football consistently and accurately and be able to use his arm as well as he uses his legs, nope, not for me either. This is a team that was 1-6 to start the season. Dan Campbell turned that around. Yes, they lost Jamal Williams, but they added David Montgomery with a 1-2 punch in the backfield with Swift. Now, there are some other coaches out there that I think are going to be in the running. Robert Saleh, of course, if the Jets get Aaron Rodgers, Sean Payton, and I do believe he can turn things around in Denver. But at 10-1, yeah, I'm playing it. I'm playing it right now. I think the Lions win the division. And so, yeah, absolutely, I'm playing it. All right, let's turn our attention, Tyler, from the pigskin to the Lynx. Coming up tomorrow, mind you, it starts tomorrow, is the Dell Technologies Championship. Now, keep in mind, this is match play, and a lot of times this is great. They love to host this tournament around March Madness. So if you're out of your bracket and you're done, you've torn it up, it's in the garbage, no worries. You have a bracket for golf, and it starts tomorrow. This is taking place at the Austin Country Club in Texas. 5 days, 64 golfers, 16 groups of 4. They play each other, and of course, the top 16 in each group advances into the weekend. So you're talking about 7 matches in 5 days. Okay, so being healthy and fresh is really, really important. This is a Pete Dye course, Parkland style. It's not very long. They've got 5 par 4s that are anywhere between 400 yards. Definitely have to putt well, and obviously really good in match play format because it takes a certain mindset in order to win. With that being said, Tyler, what are your par 3s? What are your 3 best bets heading into tomorrow's tournament?
All right, let's start with a matchup that we'll see early in the tournament in group play, and that is Jason Day over Adam Svensson. I got the Aussie over the Canadian. Svensson's had a really good season. He's not going to be an easy out for Jason Day, but Day is a significant favorite for a reason. He's been playing some of the most consistent golf in the world. Hasn't gotten back into the winner's circle yet, but Anita, wouldn't surprise me if it happened at this event or a major or a big high-profile event. So a group play match bet, I like Jason Day over Adam Svensson. One of the players I like to make it out of group play is Keegan Bradley, the American. He's in a group with Rory McIlroy, who's the prohibitive favorite. But Keegs is a really good match play golfer. He has that experience on the Ryder Cup, on President's Cups. He's a tremendous ball striker, and if the putts are dropping, then he's really hard to beat in match play. The putting hurts more in stroke play, but if you can just get those pars sometime to beat a bogey of your opponent, I look at the way Rory's playing, and he's been up and down this season after a really hot start. I think Keeg's been a little more consistent. At the price of plus 310, I'll take Keeg to come out of his group. And then I'm going to throw a dart at a winning player, and that's Max Homa. His price has been plummeting because I think he's popular for a lot of people coming into this tournament. Homa has no weaknesses in his game. He's a good driver of the ball. He's a great ball striker, good short game, really good putter, and he relishes these moments, these type of environments that are going to be pressure-packed with match play. So shop around and see if you can get a price that's a little bit better than I think now 16-1, 20-1 at Caesars. But Max Homa's a guy I really think is built for match play, Anita.
One thing we've learned, right, in March Madness is anything could happen. So the bets I'm making are ones of guys that I think are going to make it out of their division, right, their group. I feel that those are the most safe bets we can make right now. So I've got 3 for you. One is Tony Finau getting out of his group, and you get that at plus 150. I think he gets a very favorable draw. Kitayama, Bez, Brock. That's part of his draw. I think that he can beat all of them handedly. He can grip it and rip it. And as we said, this is a short course, so his length is going to be huge. I like Hoagie to get out of his group. That's group 6, and you get that at plus 240. Shoffley is in that group, and he's favored. Let's be honest, Tyler, his game has not been on point this season. Also, Weiss and Cam Davis are in that group. I just love the way that Hoagie's been playing. I think getting him at plus 240 is some really, really, really good odds. And last but not least, Sanjay M to get out of Group 16 at plus 190. Now, M doesn't necessarily thrive in match play, but in looking at his matchups, Fleetwood is in this matchup, and we saw Fleetwood go the distance at Valspar last week. And again, you're talking about 7 matches in 5 days. You're going to need fresh legs. Don't think Fleetwood checks that box. And also going up against Poston and McNeely. So Sanjay M, Hoagie, and Finau to get out of their groups. That's how I'm rolling with the Dell match play. Before we let you go, Tyler, we've got a lot of obviously college basketball coming up. I have to ask you, in Thursday's slate, what is your favorite? Give us your favorite Thursday game before we let you go.
Yeah, I've been fading Tennessee down the stretch of the season. I think they've been playing mediocre basketball, Anita, for the past 6 weeks. So I will with the Florida Atlantic, and I'm going to play that game to go under because that's usually how volunteer games go. They're 1-1 against the spread is Tennessee. They barely squeaked by Louisiana as a massive favorite in the first round. Then they were impressive, no doubt about it, in dispatching Duke to advance to the Sweet 16. But they're 7-7 of their last 14 games. The 2 games they've played thus far in the tournament, Anita, 113 and 117 points. We got a total of 131 here. I'm going to go under that, and I think FAU can keep it close since it's a low-scoring game, if not pull off the outright upset and advance to the Elite Eight.
Great stuff, Tyler. Appreciate it. Have a great night. We go from Tyler to Sean. Sean, welcome in. Great to have you on Bet yet again. It is your time to shine, man. This is your element. You just heard Tyler. One of his favorite plays on the Thursday slate is FAU. And, of course, they're getting 5.5, going up against Tennessee. He's fading Tennessee. What are your thoughts on Tyler's assessment of this matchup?
I would respectfully disagree. I think the Tennessee Volunteers right now, with the way that they're playing defense, as physical as they've been, and you can question maybe some of the non-calls that we had against the Duke Blue Devils, but at the end of the day, the officials are going to adjudicate the game the way they want to. If the game is allowed to be physical, I think that really benefits Tennessee. I think they're being able to score off their turnovers. They've had multiple guys step up, and yes, without Zakai Ziegler, their starting point guard, their leading assist maker, here they are in the Sweet 16. And I think they're going to advance. And I think if the line's 5, I would probably lean more towards Tennessee.
So it's really interesting. I had Seth Greenberg on my radio show over the weekend, and he was commenting just how physical this tournament has been, especially that game Tennessee going up against Duke. I do believe Tennessee wins. At least I'm hoping they do. I have them coming out of that region. But I just like this FAU team. So at 5.5, I'm going to take FAU in the points, but I'm with you. I am not.
So you and I will we can disagree on this. It's okay. We can disagree and be okay.
Yeah, but don't you feel like the refs are letting these guys? I don't think it was specifically just the Tennessee and the Duke game. Like, these refs are letting these dudes play, and I like it. I'm enjoying it. Let's talk about your UCLA Bruins, right? They got to the Sweet 16, but this is a team. Singleton now is dealing with an ankle injury. It's like I feel like each and every time I read up on them, there's another player injured, but still they're playing so well. And they're favored by 2. The over-under is 145. What are your thoughts on this matchup against Gonzaga this week?
Well, I'll tell you what. If the UCLA Bruins win, we don't need to interview a player. We don't need to interview Mick Cronin. We need to bring the trainer over and be like, how did you get this done? Because that's how injured UCLA has been throughout the course of this tournament. And David Singleton, you could tell me that he's going to play. and that's fine. He probably will. But at what level is he going to be able to function? And they lost Jalen Clark already, who we don't even talk about anymore because it's been a couple of weeks. But then you have Adem Bona with the shoulder. We saw him after the dunk pull himself out of the game because of the shoulder injury. And now you're going to go against Drew Timme. Who guards Drew Timme? Is it Jaime Jaquez? Because if it's Jaime Jaquez, you're running the risk of getting into foul trouble because Drew Timme draws fouls against whoever is guarding him. If it's not Drew Timme and you're putting Adem Bona or you're putting on Kenneth Nuba, these guys are going to be in foul trouble right away. And that's probably my biggest concern right now for UCLA is the fact that they're not able to disrupt quite as much out on the perimeter as they were. If UCLA was at full strength, I would definitely favor UCLA in this game. It's my alma mater. I'm rooting for them to win. But from a strictly analysis perspective and what you've seen so far, I think this might be the game where these injuries catch up to UCLA. Defensively, this Gonzaga team has been much better over the last 3.5 weeks or so. And that has really helped them on this run. And look, this is the first time entering an NCAA tournament in at least the last 3 or 4 years where we haven't said the words, it's national championship or bust for the Gonzaga Bulldogs. They might end up getting to the Final Four this year a little bit under the radar as a 3 seed. That's kind of hard to imagine. But certainly this team has been playing some of its best basketball. And Anton Watson, this is the guy that brings versatility to the court for Mark Few's team. And again, if you put a big on that, fine, they're going to lift Anton Watson. That's going to pull Jaime Jaquez away from the hoop. You're going to try to isolate underneath, and that versatility that Mark Few has will make it a challenge for this UCLA's defense.
Yeah, Watson has been terrific. I've got a small lean towards Gonzaga. In full disclosure, I'm 50-50 in my brackets. Gonzaga and UConn representing that region of death, as a lot of people are calling it. But I think the play here is the over. At some point in time, Sean, not having Clark on the court and all these other injuries we're talking about, at some point in time, the defense for UCLA, in my opinion, has to give. And we know Gonzaga, they're coached so well. I think you mentioned Timme. I think he's going to get fouled. I think he's going to spend a lot of time on the free throw line, which we know he can sink those as well. So I think the play here is the over. I'm taking the over at 145. And again, I've got a small lean on Gonzaga. Let's talk about Michigan State and Kansas State. This is a team, Michigan State favored by 2. The over-under is 137.5. I like Michigan State here. I had Michigan State upsetting Marquette, and now they get to go up against Kansas State, right? Izzo and his party coming to Broadway, baby. New York. And then he's got Ty Walker who's coming home. He's going to be thrilled to play at the Garden. They defeated Marquette. Now, this is really interesting. They defeated Marquette, shooting only 2 of 16 from behind the arc, but their guard play and coaching took them over the top and, of course, took them the distance. So I'm curious, are you on the same side I am here? Do you think Michigan State beats Kansas State, Sean?
I do not. And I think that the little apple of Manhattan, Kansas shines big in the Big Apple. In particular, when you think about those guards, you got Noel and you've got Keontae Johnson. What a great story Keontae Johnson has been. For those that haven't paid attention, this is a young man that collapsed on the floor a couple of years back against Florida State when he was at Florida, and doctors told him he probably wasn't ever going to play again. He finally gets medical cleared, and he has performed at such a high level all season long for Kansas State. And I just think Jerome Tang has brought that Baylor system to Kansas State. And it's a bunch of transfers. It's a bunch of guys that nobody believed in. Go back and look at where they were preseason ranked inside the Big 12. And all they did was win games. This is a tough physical group that their guards lead the way. And I think the guard matchup, to your point of what Michigan State has been able to do, has been outstanding at the guard position. And I think that that's where this matchup will be so key. I believe in the heart, the togetherness, and the fight of this Kansas State team to get past Michigan State.
I'm not sure if Arkansas is going to be playing shirtless or not, but what I do know is that you're laying 3.5. Hey, I was quite impressed. Dude's in pretty good shape. I don't know.
Hold on.
If I was that old
Hold on. No, I'm just kidding.
I was in that great of shape, oh boy. All right, so Arkansas is favored by 3.5. The over/under is 140. Do you feel the Hogs? Do they keep dancing? Are we gonna see the entire team reveal their midsection if they pull this off?
I don't know. I hit Orange Theory earlier this morning just in case announcers have to follow the lead of Eric Musselman. But you look at this Arkansas team. they're going to need better production from their two freshman guards, Black and Smith. They did not play well last time out. They were still able to win because of Devo Davis and Ricky Council. I think when you look at this game, the problem becomes this UConn team has so much depth. They have so much size that they can play through that I think it makes it really problematic for Arkansas underneath as this game goes on. The key is going to be the guard play, though. Eric Musselman's team thrives in creating turnovers and opportunities to score, and I think that's probably going to be the advantage for Arkansas in this contest.
Yeah, by the way, correction, UConn is favored here, not Arkansas. So I've got two plays. Number one, another game where I do like the over. I think each team is going to get to the free throw line, and of course, they do well. Arkansas, top 5 in free throw attempt rate. And also, I think this is going to be a very fast-paced game. I think this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. But UConn, man, Sean, they look so good, right? As you said, athletic, long. They've got a lot of depth, good defense, top 20 in offense and defensive efficiency. So I think UConn pulls it off. I'll lay the points with UConn, and I do like the over. Any final thoughts with my plays before we let you go?
No, I think you're brilliant as always, and I'm just lucky to be part of this show, and I will keep my shirt on for the entirety of this segment.
Sean, you rock. We appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you next week, my friend.
Let's do it. I can't wait.
You got it. All right, so we go from college basketball to the NBA, and Eric Moody joins us here on Bet. So, Eric, let's dive right into it. We've got some good games on the slate. One in particular, yes. You can see the shirt I'm wearing, so you know what side of the coin I'm on tonight. But the Cavs going up against the Nets. The Cavs are favored by 4. The over-under is 218.5. What's your play here, my friend?
Well, you know what? I've got 2 plays on this game, Anita, and I'll go ahead and put it out there. I love the Cavs tonight. They're just playing so well right now. If you're a bettor, you really have to back Cleveland with how well they've played lately, especially on the road. You look at the Cavaliers, and they're 3-2 against the spread in their last 5 road games. You look at the Nets, on the other hand, they're 2-3 against the spread in their last 5 home games. Now, this is going to be a hard-fought Eastern Conference game. Both of these 2 teams are jockeying for playoff positioning, and so I expect a hard-fought game, but I do see the Cavaliers coming out on top. Now, if you're looking for a player prop, I do like Spencer Dinwiddie in this matchup to surpass 28.5 points plus assists plus rebounds. As a starting point guard for the Brooklyn Nets, he's become incredibly consistent, especially when it comes to generating assists. And so you look at what he's been able to do over the last 5 games. He's averaged 17.2 points, 11.2 assists, and also 4 rebounds per game. And he's really been aggressive with putting pressure on the rim as often as possible in an attempt to really create opportunities for his teammates. I do believe he'll have success doing that tonight against the Cavaliers. I bet the over when you look at Spencer Dinwiddie and par.
Okay, I as well have 2 plays in tonight's matchup. Avi, I'm on the Cavs, right? Number 1 in defensive efficiency as of late. Also, Garland should fall with Cam Johnson back active and not so attractive, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I also like Mobley over points and rebounds, and that's at 26.5. Strong on both sides. We've seen his play. Obviously, the offense runs through him, especially with no Jarrett Allen on the court, which he's not expected to play tonight. This over has hit 8 of his last 13 games, and the Nets are giving up the 2nd most rebounds per game to their opponent. So I, as well, have 2 plays in this matchup. Let's talk about the Celtics, and they're going up against the Kings. The Celtics are favored by 5. The over-under is 238.5. What's your play here?
You know what, Anita? This is the matchup I'm looking forward to the most on Tuesday's slate. So I do love Jason Tatum in this game to surpass 36.5 points plus rebounds. Now, over the last 4 games, he's kind of been up and down. You look at Tatum, he's averaged 23.3 points and 8.8 rebounds. Now, he has averaged on the season 30 points and 9 rebounds per game, and I do believe that is the Jason Tatum that we will see tonight against the Kings. So I do believe he can surpass those per game averages. Now, if you look at his last 3 games against Sacramento, he has been superb. He's averaged 32.7 points and 5.7 rebounds. So this will be a high-scoring game, which leads me to my next recommendation. I love the over here. Now, here's why. You look at the Kings. They return home after we'll say, a tougher than expected game against the Jazz on the road. And so bettors can expect, again, a high-scoring game here. You look at these two teams. You got the Kings. You've got the Celtics. They both rank in the top 5 in points scored per 100 possessions. The Kings rank first, and you look at the Celtics, they rank 5th. And one thing about the Celtics, the total have gone over in 4 of the last 6 road games, so I love them here. I love the total here, I would say. Last but not least, I really like Domantas Sabonis in this game to surpass 38.5 points plus assists plus rebounds. I know he had an underwhelming performance last night against the Jazz, but in his 2 previous games, he's actually surpassed 38.5 par, so I love Sabonis here as well.
I'm going to take the Kings tonight with the points. This is the second of a back-to-back, but that's okay. They're 7-5 against the spread. Their last second of a back-to-back. Also, they're back at home. I think they get a big boost. The Celtics, they're on the road, and if you've been watching them the last few games, just not impressive, right? Still not rolling on all cylinders, playing, I think, to the level that we know the Boston Celtics can play at, and Pritchard is still out. So they're not going to have all hands on deck. So give me the Kings and the points tonight. Last but not least, let's talk about OKC. The Thunder going up against the Clippers. Clippers favored by 7. The over-under is 237.5. What's your play, Eric?
Yeah, there are 2 player props in this game that I like. The first one, I love Kawhi Leonard to surpass 35.5 points plus rebounds. Now, over the last 9 games, you look at Leonard, he's averaged 30.1 points and 6.8 rebounds. Now, right now, Leonard is playing great, and he should be well rested out of going up against the Thunder tonight. Now, if you look at his last 5 games against Oklahoma City, he's averaged 29.8 points and 8.2 rebounds. So I love Leonard in this matchup. Last but not least, I really like SGA in this game to surpass 36.5 points plus assists. Now, look at this, Anita. I'm like, he's averaged 38.8 points plus assists so far in March. Now, I know the Clippers are a sound defensive team. Don't get me wrong. They're great on defense, but just how hot SGA is right now and the way that he's playing, I believe it'll be very difficult for them to contain him. I like the over when you look at the line on points plus assists, 36.5. I'm betting the over here.
So I have 2 plays in this matchup as well. My first one is, give me the Thunder. Give me the Thunder and the points. I love it. It was 6.5 a few hours ago. Now it's up to 7. Yeah, give me. Why? 4-1 against the spread. Their last 5 games above teams that are above 500. So they are playing exceptionally well in teams that are playing well themselves. Number 2, they've won 7 of their last 9. Also, they beat the Suns on Sunday, so they're coming in with a little extra swag. The player prop I like, believe it or not, brace yourself, Eric, is over par for Russell Westbrook. That's right. I feel like finally, it's been a minute, right? But finally, like, the Clippers have gelled in regard to his role and what he has going on. He's actually hit this total over par 3 straight games, and he's averaging now 34 minutes a game. So give me Russ over par at 25.5. So I know I told you to buckle up, baby. I told you to buckle up. Eric, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck tonight on your NBA slate of games.
No, likewise. Until next time, Anita.
You got it. All right, as always, we like to end bet with before I let you go. And I'm not on bet for the remainder of the week, so therefore I want to give you some of my Friday plays. I gave you some of my Thursday plays with Sean. Let's look at some of my Friday plays heading into, of course, the Sweet 16. Give me San Diego State and the points. I also like the over here. You know, listen, Bama, their pace is very, very high. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to force San Diego State into a faster pace of game. I know these are 2 good defenses, but they lead to turnovers. Turnover leads to extra points. So I think these teams are going to get to the free throw line. So I like San Diego State getting the points, but my favorite play here is the over as well. Miami going up against Houston. Houston 5-9 against the spread its last 14 games. Miami is 2-7 as an underdog this season, and that's exactly what they are coming in. They're getting 7. Houston has looked healthy, which is great. Strong offensively, especially those guards. I do believe Houston wins, but that guard play and how well Miami's been playing, I think they cover, so give me the 7. Princeton going up against Creighton. Creighton putting down a hefty 9.5. If you're scared, say you're scared. I'm not scared. I'm going to take Creighton. I feel they check all the boxes. Balanced team, great interior defense, great perimeter defense. They force turnovers. And as great of a story Princeton is, I still think I think Creighton is going to dominate. So I'm going to lay the points with Creighton. And last but not least, give me Texas. I'll lay the points, the 4 against Xavier. Texas is in such great form. Rice has been terrific. They beat Penn State, and that was a really scary game. It came down to a close one. But they're outscoring their opponents by 10 points, Texas is. So I'll lay the 4. So those are my 4 plays for your Friday slate in college basketball. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to Bet. We really appreciate it. Have a great night, and I will see you next week.